0. Hello, this is back again from Unity Center and Unity Center Web TV. And we're still having Gary Renard here and interviewing him about his experiences. This is part 2, and I would like to talk about world peace. How, Gary, do you have any solutions? How can we get all these wars to end, and why does not anything work? Do you have any answers for that?
Sure. One of my teachers in The Disappearance of the Universe, Persa, she said, the people of the world will never live in peace until the people of the world have inner peace. That's because, as A Course in Miracles would put it, what we're seeing out there in the world, which is like a movie screen, which is the effect. The cause is mind. The world is just an effect, which is why the Course says this is a course in cause and not effect. What we're seeing out there on the screen is an outer picture of an inward condition. But what we do is, instead of trying to fix the inward condition, which is where the problem really is, we try to fix the problem out there on the screen. We've been doing that for thousands of years. So we'll try negotiation. That doesn't work. We'll try diplomacy. That doesn't work. We'll try a League of Nations. That doesn't work. We'll try a United Nations. No, that doesn't work. We'll try diplomacy, negotiation. How about war? We'll try war. Well, people get tired of that after 10 years or so. So then they say, okay, we'll try peace. But it's not a real peace. The Course says, mistake not truce for peace. It's not a real peace because you haven't solved the real problem. The real problem is the conflict in the mind. As long as you have conflict in the mind, then you will have conflict in the world. You will have war in the world. The only way to stop it is to have enough people in the world achieve inner peace. If there's enough inner peace in the mind, then peace on earth would have to follow, literally. It couldn't be any other way, because it's the inward condition that is resulting in that outer picture. So what we really need to work on is that inner condition and achieve inner peace. Now, a lot of people have said that, that the way to peace is you have to be the peace. You have to solve the problem within. That's true. But they don't know how to do it. What A Course in Miracles does is it actually undoes the conflict in the mind. I remember at the very beginning of the book, Disappearance, I had made a decision. And the decision was I wanted to remove conflict from my life. Now, I had no idea at that time what a tall order that was. That's not easy. It's doable, but it's not easy. I think you have to really want it. You have to be willing to apply this as a discipline and make it a part of you. But if you really want inner peace, then you'll do the things that you need to do to achieve that. It's kind of like wanting to be a concert pianist. If I wanted to be a great concert pianist, well, I would realize that the only way I'm going to do that is if I sit down every day and practice. And this is no different. The workbook of A Course in Miracles is a discipline. It's a thought system. But if you really want the results of the Course, then you'll have perseverance, which I think is the most important quality that any spiritual student can have.
Perseverance, can you explain that?
Yeah, you just refuse to quit.
Okay.
You stick with it.
Yeah.
And you have to kind of like get to the point, and this takes a while, but at one point the Course says, be vigilant only for God and His kingdom. And it talks about forgiveness, and it says that it denies the ability of anything not of God to affect you. So what you're saying now is that the world is not the powerful thing. You are. You're not a victim anymore, and the world is being done to you, which gives you the power. That means that nobody in this world has the power to hurt you or the power to make you feel bad unless you give it that power. Now your happiness and your peace of mind is not dependent on what happens in the world, because all the world is going to do anyway is change. And this is a spirituality that can be there for you, and a happiness and a peace of mind that can be there for you regardless of what appears to happen in the world. And that's real freedom. That's real power, and that's what real spirituality is about. What facilitates that is forgiveness. You undo the ego, undo the conflict. You have inner peace. If you could get enough people in the world to do that, you would have outer peace as well. It couldn't help but be that way. So the Course works on the inner condition. As far as the outer picture, as far as your life goes, well, the irony is that your life might get better.
Yeah,
You know, because you're thinking more clearly, you're being guided, you're being inspired. You know, with that, all kinds of things are possible. That's not the focus of the Course. The focus of the Course is on the projector, not on the screen. If you change what's in the projector, well, the screen will change too. It can't help but change. You change the inner condition, the outer picture, you know, it's going to follow too. It's just that now the focus is on a different place. The focus is on the mind and on the cause, and it's giving you back your power so that you can say whether or not something affects you. You know, and if it's not of God, it doesn't have to affect you.
I'm thinking about the Unity Center here is about self-development, and we have lots of therapists here working with helping people with self-development. Of course, we can practice forgiveness, but lots of people have lots of problems they need to get through. So you think ordinary therapy, psychotherapy, going to healing and all these things, is that a part of the road to enlightenment?
Sure. The way I see it is this. Every spiritual path is valid. Everyone's experience is valid. I look back at things that I believed 20 years ago. I may not necessarily believe some of those things today, but I have to admit that it was absolutely necessary for me to believe those things at that time, or else I wouldn't be here. It's like the Holy Spirit is leading us one step at a time. You know, we don't get the whole picture all at once. We're being led one step at a time down the spiritual path. The Course says you will be told all that you need to know. You know, and so, you know, as you go along one step at a time, whatever step you're on at that time, it's valid for you. It's necessary. You need that to get to wherever you're going. So I respect everybody's spirituality, and I respect their beliefs. And you know, it's something that is necessary because the Holy Spirit is working with that person the same way that the Holy Spirit is working with me and students of A Course in Miracles. And if the Course is right for you, you'll know it. You know, it just leaps off the page at you. Although I think that a lot of people have read my book first. I know a lot of people in Norway are reading The Disappearance of the Universe in English. And there was somebody here today who wants to translate it into Norwegian as well.
Yeah.
That person was associated with translating A Course in Miracles into Norwegian. So I think that would be a good thing. My books are in 21, 22 languages.
How many books have you written now? How many has been published?
The third one will be out soon. So the first
No,
two...
I thought about how many copies is it about the disappearance of the universe? How many copies have been made in the world?
I don't know exactly. I don't know yet because they don't report every every week or something. There's always a delayed
Is it
report.
1,000, millions, or how?
No, I'd say hundreds of thousands.
100,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic.
But you know, for a metaphysical book, that's good. You know, metaphysical books don't usually sell as well as self-help, you know, get-rich kind of books. Because everybody wants to get rich. And what real spirituality is about being happy and peaceful regardless of whether you're rich or poor, regardless of whether you're sick or well. It's not subject to the conditions of the world and the circumstances of your life. It's something that is bigger than that, something that can be peaceful and powerful regardless of what's going on in your life. And the irony is, you know, you might be successful too. You might be guided to things that work. Yeah.
But you said guided. The main thing here is you have to trust the spirit. Don't be in your head all the time. That's the main thing. In the Western world, we have difficult with that. Getting out of the head and understanding that somebody trying to help you here. How do you feel a difference?
Well, you know, it's interesting you should ask that because even though A Course in Miracles looks very intellectual, you know, looks very sophisticated, you know, Shakespearean and biblical and scholarly and all that, at the end of the day, it's really very experiential, because those words in the Course are meant to lead you to a place that is beyond all words. And that's the great mystical experience that the masters of history have talked about. And it's possible to have that experience even while you appear to be here. And it's really that experience that the Course is directed toward, because it is the answer to all of our questions. If you have that experience, questions disappear in that experience, and there's only the answer that is left. Then you come back here, and you realize that you were dreaming the questions, because the questions don't exist in God. The questions only exist when you appear to be separate.
Yes. It's so interesting ways of talking, but how many minutes do we have left? 4 minutes. I could talk with you hours, but we maybe have to cut down now. And I recommend people to the Course of Miracles is. You mean it's channeled from a guy named Jesus or something?
That's right. Jesus is the voice of the Course.
Yes.
A research psychologist in New York City named Dr. Helen Schuckman.
Yes.
She heard the voice of Jesus and wrote down what he said. The Course is now available in Norwegian, and I think that's great. And my books are my teachers, Arden and Persa, two ascended masters who appeared to me. What they did was they clarified A Course in Miracles for me. They told me after their second visit to me that I was going to start studying this thing called A Course in Miracles, which I had never heard of. This is almost 20 years ago. And, so I got a copy, started reading it, and it was like, what the hell is this? It made no sense whatsoever to me. But I noticed after they visited me 9 or 10 times that I could go back to the Course and it was making sense to me. And I thought, wow, that's really cool, because if it can do that for me, it's going to do the same thing for other people.
Yeah.
And I could not have done that. I could not have written the book. I wouldn't have known what I was talking about. I would have done the same thing with the Course in Miracles that most people do, which is they make up their own interpretation of it. They make up their own way of looking at it. But that's not the Course, because the Course is saying, look, you don't know the truth. This is the truth. The truth is the truth, whether you understand and agree with it or not. The truth is not subject to your interpretation. The truth is a constant. It's a constant state. It doesn't shift or change. It's always the same, and it always will be the same. 2,000 years from now, the truth will still be the truth. And your opinion of it is not relevant. And people don't like that idea. Because people want to have their own truth.
Yeah, of course. We like that.
Yeah. But their truth ain't usually the truth.
Yeah, that's the way. 2 minutes left. Okay. Usually we end the interviews with, do you have a message to the world? Now you have the chance to give your personal message.
Well, I would say that, nobody else can tell you what the purpose of your life is. I can tell you what the purpose of my life is. The purpose of my life is to forgive as much as possible, undo the ego, and get the hell out of here. And now I want to go home.
Yeah.
But that's a personal decision.
Yeah.
Nobody can make that decision for somebody else. You can't teach somebody something that they don't want to learn. So what I do is I just try to get people more in touch with the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Spirit can tell them what to do.
That's inside of everybody.
Yes, everybody has access to the Holy Spirit. The Course says that the Holy Spirit will respond to your slightest invitation. So what I try to do is point out to people ways to undo the ego interference to the Holy Spirit. Then they can always have that endless supply of abundance in the form of the Holy Spirit that they can go to.
Thank you very much, Gary. It was fantastic having you here.
Oh, it's my pleasure. We're having a great time. Can't wait to come back.